So that's the natural product at the
It's
moment.
totally 100% natural. Yes.
You mentioned about stainless steel reaching nickel. Now, a lot of people are using stainless steel marks. You like to drink tea, coffee. Do you recommend using that?
I would suspect that most of the stainless steel you have will have some nickel in it. It's just part of the process. In surgical implements they put in you, they limit the amount of nickel because it causes allergic reactions. And you know, I think it's just bad for you. One thing I worry about is the young people today, not too many here, but have got all these things going through their cheeks, their eyes, their noses, and that's all stainless. And I suspect they will have high nickel over time in their system. And I don't think that's good. So just from the health standpoint, the appearance, that's up to them. But I think on the health side, I'd worry about it.
So would you recommend not using those stainless steel marks and cups?
You're going to be exposed to it always. One thing I recommend is probably taking zinc supplements on a more regular basis, because zinc will displace some of these things. It will displace the arsenic, the lead, the mercury will be displaced by zinc, and possibly nickel. Any last questions? Yes?
We're talking about kind of the uptake of all of these minerals, but we're now in a situation where we're exposed to lots of electromagnetic fields. Is there any work that's been done saying exposure to all these electromagnetic fields and how that's affecting the uptake of different minerals?
I know there are different studies on it. I haven't spent time looking at them, but I think it's almost like the same thing with the cell phones.
Right.
You know, some studies say yes, there is indication it's bad for you. Others say there's no indication at all. Sometimes I worry about studies that say there's no effect of using cell phones or having it strapped them on you all the time, because the manufacturers of these cell phones could stand to lose billions and billions of dollars if there was a link. It's just like the pharmaceutical industry wanting to keep the caltrates and these other products, prescription products on the market, knowing very well they don't work all that well.
There have been studies where they use heart rate variability to measure using routers, turning it on and off, and the effect on the central nervous system, parasympathetic sympathetic. So they know it affects them. You know,
I have a cell phone, and I have my colleague here in the lab gets very upset with me because I don't often answer it because I don't carry it a lot. I had a partner at Maxam. Probably all Maxam people know my partner at Maxam was John Martin, and he had a cell phone strapped here all the time. He's got pancreatic cancer, very deadly, but he's still alive after 5 years. But he's fighting. He still has the cancer, but he's a fighter. I don't wear a watch either. You know, I'm careful. There's so much cancer in my family. I'm trying to be careful. There's one in the back here. Let me take the question in the back.
So if sodium is in the same family,
You'll have to interpret because I can't hear.
that's her. So if sodium is in the same family as cesium, rubidium, and potassium, why is it regarded as such a bad element if it's in the exact same family?
I'll let now you answer it.
Okay, what happened is sodium and potassium, they are both working as one inside the cell and one is outside the cell. So we need the one who's outside the cell to open the door to the minerals to come inside. This is why when you have too much sodium, you have too much things inside the cell, and the stuff can't come inside the cell, the other minerals. So it's by nature that sodium are inside the cell and potassium are outside the cell. We need to increase the amount of the mineral outside the cell to open the door for other minerals to come inside.
She had a question.
Well, not a question, I just wanted to make an observation. Korean photography, where they measure the energy levels in different colors around the body, with somebody who was a heavy cell phone users, you could see a pie wrench shape that was disrupted into the ear that they use. So it doesn't affect.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but it's just like in clinical trials, you will not see very much, not much of a chance of strontium becoming a drug out there, because it costs millions and millions of dollars in clinical trials, and it's a dirt cheap product that at this point, you know, who's going to be getting a patent? It's not going to happen. So with cell phones, you know, doing those studies, there's not a lot of people want to spend the money to put themselves out of business.
And with regards to radioactivity in cell phones, Canada used to be the leading expert in microwave technology, and ever since 1960 as well, they had all the knowledge that they needed in order, they didn't need to do any more research, and still don't. But what happened was there was a professor from Cambridge University came, and he showed us a document from the Freedom of Information Act from the government, where one of the top politicians had said, we cannot let this information out as it will affect industrial profit. So they knew all of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues in our society. Sometimes the government tries to protect us. Sometimes they try to protect industry in general. We all know that you know, the petroleum industry has a huge lobby. They're trying to clean up some of their problems out in Alberta, but there's huge levels of carcinogens out there. Benzene being one of the proven carcinogens in men, in man, if you will. We used to pump our own gas, or used to have people pump gas for us. And then we got to pumping our own gas because it was too dangerous for people pumping gas. Our gasoline used to have benzene in it, and that caused liver cancer. It's proven in humans it causes liver cancer. And what?
And lead.
And lead, yeah. But the benzene was you know, it is something to worry about. But when I was at university, I guess about 1968, I worked a lot on petroleum products, and the best thing to wash your hands when your hands were all black was to use benzene. So I was soaking my hands in it. You know, and they didn't tell me it was bad.
We learned on organic chemistry, so I never even wanted to touch it.
You want to stay away from it as much as possible. But it was in gasoline. We used to, every one of you that pumped gasoline 15, 20 years ago, if you read the small print on the gas pump, it says, do not inhale. Stop breathing when you're pumping. It causes cancers in animals. So, you know, it's a problem. Anyways, I'd like to thank you for your attention. I hope you all learned something, and hope you're all going to be healthier from it and live longer. Thank you.
Can you guys hear me? So on behalf of all three of the companies, so Maxam, Canold, and especially the Triangle of Life, me, my father, and I'm sure everybody here would like to thank you so much.
Oh, for sure.
We're very blessed that you were able to come here. I'm very honored that you are sharing your wisdom and your knowledge with us. So if we can all just give him a and thank you guys for coming.